Good morning from Frisco, Texas. It's breakfast at Fishinese, part one. This is the joy, and at 8 a.m. the pain. 8 a.m. straight football. The top 10, bottom 10 year-end reviews for your Dallas Cowboys. Top 10, bottom 10 moments for the 2024 Dallas Cowboys, with hopefully a brighter future on the way. 7:20 now. As per your request, you wanted it this way. You voted. And because you're aware that in the case of one former big shot at Fox Sports 1, at FS1, where there's a sex scandal, that I might have some insight there. So we will try to handle this soberly. We'll try to do this without too many smirks, not zero smirks, but not too many, as we take you through the FS1 Fox Sports Skip Bayless, Joy Taylor sexcapades scandal. We'll spend about 15 minutes here. Then we'll reconvene at 8 a.m. for straight football, including the very latest on McCarthy and Zeke and Jerry and Micah and more. If you've followed my discussions over the years regarding Skip Bayless, who I've known since 1990, you're well aware of what I feel is the real Skip. He's a fake, he's a fraud, he's a cockroach. It bothers me to no end that there are still, maybe not millions, but a million Cowboy fans who think he's one of you. He doesn't know, he doesn't care, it's all an act. The times when he's over the years contradicted himself on his fandom is actually hilarious if it wasn't so bothersome, because he has sucked so many people in to his trap. There's nothing sincere about him. In my experience with him, there's nothing pure about him. In my experience with him, there's nothing good about him, except that he once had journalistic talent and he decided to cash that in for money. Well within his right, except along the path, he hurt people. He said things about people on the air and off that damaged people. So that, combined with my belief that sports journalism still matters, and that Skip has effectively ruined it because he became so successful at his scam that he's created now two generations of young prospective journalists. And listen, I deal with them all the time. I deal with hundreds of them a year who send me their resumes. And the ones, for the most part, the ones who suggest that they want to be the next Skip Bayless, I do not hire because they don't get it. We don't need another Skip Bayless. We never needed the first one in the first place. So I know that some of you are thinking, now that Skip's not only going down, well, he wasn't allowed to go down, but you know what I mean, that he's going down for a second time. They fired him. He didn't quit. And now he's involved in a 42-page lawsuit that accuses him of sexual wrongdoing in the workplace. And I don't expect you to have read the 42 pages. I've looked at the important parts. And the accuser, to the layman, seems to have her ducks in a row here. She's got extremely precise descriptions of what happened, including apparently diary entries from the day it happened, and another day, and another day, and another day, and another day. He's fake and he's gross. And so in that regard, this doesn't surprise me. I'm going to use the word allegedly at least one time to make sure that I don't get sued. It's all allegedly. Skip and Joy and Emmanuel and Sharp, and a big orgy, allegedly, except they wouldn't let one guy in. It's a big pile, a big sex pile. And one guy waves his hand, can I come in? And they say, no. What if I give you $1.5 million? No. So my first question as I pointed out last night, and many of you found this highly entertaining, but because of the Skip that I know, who over the course of his time as a playboy in Dallas, it was Skip and Dexter Clinkscale. It was the only, Dexter Clinkscale was the only friend that Skip had as he caroused Dallas. Is that a word, caroused? I don't know what he was chasing out there, but the two of them were chasing, and it was just the two of them, whatever they were chasing. So up the ladder he climbs, and the answer to the first question is, what was my first thought? Was Nushin Faraji. Is that a man or a woman? That was my first thought. And I'm not trying to be crass, and I'm not trying to be a smartass. By the way, this is an earmuff 720, 8 o'clock, G-rated. This might be a little earmuffy. I know that that's funny, but I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being very serious. And I did have somebody close to the situation yesterday say, given his assault on Troy Aikman, all for the purpose of making $100,000 to write a book. He wrote a book about the Cowboys that destroyed Tom Landry, made money off it, said, I'll write another one, and did some more destroying. And then when the publisher said, you're about done, he said, no, I got one more idea. I can write a book about how Aikman is gay. So yes, this person close to the situation told me yesterday, the twisted irony, had this been a male hairdresser that Skip proposed to, 1.5 million sex proposal, indecent proposal. Again, not that there's anything wrong with that, Seinfeld, but the twisted irony that Skip, who has long been highly concerned with the sexuality of the people he talks about, highly concerned, that would have been an interesting twist. Instead, Nushin Faraji is indeed a woman. She basically paints Fox Sports over there as a den of iniquity. Not to get political on you, because Fox Sports, FS1, really has nothing to do with Fox News. But, and you can be a fan of Fox News, you have to still acknowledge that Roger Ailes was running a sex store over there. This woman filed a 14-claim lawsuit on January 3rd, Los Angeles Superior Court. Those named include Skip Bayless and Joy Taylor. And Charlie Dixon, who's the big shot over there, who was behind it all. Charlie Dixon's the guy who went to Miami, met Joy Taylor when she was becoming a radio person and leaving her job as a bartender, and said, I can make you a star, allegedly. What do we have to do for each other so I can make you a star? We're going to do, as one executive told me yesterday, a retired executive told me yesterday, that as much as this is newsworthy, it's not shocking to him, because this is the way men and women have been working for thousands of years. Sad but true. The bartering of favors for sex. Allegedly, that's what happened that's how Ms. Taylor went from being a Miami bartender to a radio lady at age 26 to being a superstar on TV at age 26 with no, relatively speaking, credentials. She claims in this lawsuit that Skip Bayless tried to pressure her into having sex with him. And again, the details are excruciating. Exactly what she claims he said, exactly what day she claims he said it, his relentlessness, rubbing up against her and grabbing her buttocks and being suggestive, and then saying, I love you and I dream about you. He's married, by the way, and I've made fun of that over the years too. Nothing against Ernestine, but my joke has always been, this was a joke, that I always wondered if Ernestine was just a blow-up doll. But the real Ernestine's probably displeased today to find out that her husband is allegedly offering $1.5 million to have sex with the hairdresser, who, by the way, is a credentialed woman. She did the hair on, she's done Hollywood Oscar-winning movies. So she's a credentialed Hollywood hairdresser. Everybody's having sex on this set, allegedly, except for the one guy who can't even get somebody to do it with him if he pays them. I've seen some people try to defend Skip by saying, well, I'm sure it was a joke. The 1.5 million part can be a joke. It's free sex for everybody except for this one creepy guy. The 1.5 million proposal could theoretically be a joke, but when he rubs up against her, and when she says no, and when he says, allegedly, but isn't your family Muslim, so doesn't your father have 4 or 5 wives? And she says, my dad's dead, hoping that that will get him to climb off of her, and it doesn't work. He comes back at her. I'm in love with you. I dream about you. I want to have sex with you. She says, Skip, I don't date in the workplace. You're married. Of course, Joy's boyfriend, allegedly, Charlie Dixon, also married. Joy, also married. I have ovarian cancer, she finally told him, to get him off of her. It didn't work. Then, he allegedly, Skip goes after her and says, well, you're having sex with Shannon. And then Skip gets very graphic. I heard you said this about that. I heard he said this about that. Shannon Sharp is now saying, I have nothing to do with this. And Shannon, with all due respect, you have something to do with it. You went out on friendly dates with Joy Taylor. That's a fact. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And there's an accidental sex tape from a couple months ago with Shannon Sharp where he accidentally hit some button on his phone, and you can hear him going at it with somebody. So for Shannon Sharp to say, I got nothing to do with nothing when it comes to sex scandals, that's not true. There are those who think that the Skip and Shannon conflict was really about the hairdresser. And why wouldn't they think that? Shannon, this ain't got nothing to do with me. Yes, it does. Skip, I didn't get fired. I quit. No, you didn't. Oh, by the way, they also fired, I believe, the hairdresser. Somebody decided to clean this whole thing out. The only guy that might still be left standing is Mr. Dixon, who orchestrated all of this. Fox says we take these allegations seriously. Yeah. Really? Because what you should do is take the allegations seriously when the woman goes to human resources, which she claims she did repeatedly. Once the 42-page lawsuit is filed, I mean, I guess you kind of take it seriously then, but Skip's gone. Shannon's gone. Joy's still there. Joy did her show yesterday afternoon like nothing ever happened. The only thing that Joy changed yesterday from her usual show, not that I didn't see it. So again, I bet you for the first time ever, she wore a turtleneck and a gigantic down jacket and maybe a big muumuu, which is not the way she usually dresses on TV. I'm in love with you, says Skip, allegedly, to the hairdresser. Get off of me, the hairdresser says back to Skip. By the way, allegedly in this lawsuit, the hairdresser is saying, I went to Joy for help, and Joy told me, keep your mouth shut, don't worry about it. And then the hairdresser later went back to Joy and said, I think it's a bad idea that you are, quote, dating Mr. Dixon and Shannon, maybe, and Emmanuel, what's his name? That's right. Joy, allegedly, dating everybody in the building, except Skip. if Skip offered me $1.5 million, I'm not sure I'd go to lunch with him, let alone be a woman who had sex with him. But I know this, and this part is very much allegedly, but it's got to be said. The F and the O and the X. What does the X stand for? Rated. What does the O stand for? Orgy. What does the F stand for? Yeah, that. The Joy of Sex. Get it? That was a book. Remember that, Sugar? A little before your time as a young woman. The Joy of Sex for everybody, except poor little Skip. Football talk, Cowboys football talk. What's going on with Zeke, Micah, Jerry, and McCarthy? 8 a.m. Coming right back at you. Fish out.